show for hip nerds with a love for everything geek. Collectibles, sports, fashion, and of course food. What, they may have lost a few 100 pounds, but they'll always be fat to me. What? No, that's fat with a PH. This is Beyond the Routine with Chris, Jones, and some guy named Dave.
Not yet a few hundred, but on the cusp.
Right on the cusp.
On the cusp. Big shout out to Mr. Jones, who has officially breached 100.
Way to go, Jones.
Round of applause.
Does that
Calm
make
down,
you?
audience.
Cheers.
Does that make you a third of your former self?
I've lost, a little more than a third of my.
Way to
Yeah.
go, my friend.
Yeah, we
Congratulations.
noticed you're about as third as not cool as you used to be.
Yeah.
Figure out that. And then I'm a slacker, so it's not 100 pounds yet. You need to lose 10 pounds, so I don't have to.
You want me to lose 10 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Just like that.
Well,
What are
wait.
you at, like a
I
month?
thought Dave was who people chose when they didn't want to be Chris.
That's true.
I thought
Pretty much everybody. The other day, my wife called me Dave, and I was like, what? And she's like, nothing. You've been talking to Jesse, haven't you?
When are you bringing your wife back into the office? Because I want to see her again.
Dave fully wants to hit on your wife again, Stolz.
Totally.
You
Like
should
in
hit on
front
my
of
wife.
you. In front of you
Dude,
again.
dude.
She enjoyed it, and so did I.
So I hit on. I
gotta tell you.
I hit on a coworker today.
Oh God.
PH. What did I say to him exactly? I was saying something, and then I came around the corner. I'm like, speaking of tall, dark, and handsome, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I hit on a coworker, PH, in the office, and he's like immediately like, you know what, Chris? Coming from literally any other man in the world, that would creep me out, but not you.
Yeah, not you. It's
So
totally...
I have this ability just to like sexually harass male coworkers without repercussions. So it's just
I don't think it's
superpower.
limited to just male coworkers. I
And
think
so-
it's everyone you work with.
It's the same thing with you too, right? Like you like there's certain people that could probably say like hit on things to my wife, but you, I'm just like, go at it. Have a turn, Dave.
You know, Jones does the same thing with his wife and me.
Mister.
I'm like the.
You're Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I'm the temp dad. I am the replacement dad when Jones is busy doing other things. In fact, I've determined the reason Jones wants to go to Disneyland in November with me and Jesse is because he's going to end up going and doing something with Jesse and Eric, and I'm going to be stuck with the family.
Yeah.
With the kids, with Tam off doing the family thing.
Could possibly
I think
involve
that's what's going to happen.
alcohol at some point.
I would
do.
like nothing more than to come back and like Tam doesn't seem like the kind of like my wife is very well. First of all, let's just admit my wife is like Mrs. Zuckerberg. She uses Facebook so much, but she's also the queen of pictures, right? She for a long time, like I've always said, how awesome it is that when my kids get older, they get to have a fully documented like childhood. They're going to be able to look back on every birthday, everything.
Every moment.
It's going to be awesome. Granted, their father doesn't fuck up the backups between now and then.
Oh, there you go.
And so, Tam doesn't seem like the pitcher type. Like I feel like at least she doesn't maybe put him on social media as much. But I would like nothing better than Tam to do a pitcher dump of the thing, and then just it be
It's
like,
all Dave and
no,
Tam.
no. The beginning of it's like Jones and family and getting packed, and then slowly but surely Jones just disappears, and then it's just Dave in place of Jones for like 2 hours.
I don't think my wife is watching yet, but when she does, I do want to call out the fact that Jessica has said that she'd love to replace me.
Replace
you?
you?
Yes.
Oh. First of all, Jessica makes a run at all of my female friends. So watch out, ladies.
Get out of
JJ's
there.
on the prowl.
All right, so let's get into our first segment of the thing here. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna play this one. I know it's not it, but I like this one, so I'm gonna play it.
Would you have
Silence?
to turn on the music, the sound?
No, this lever here.
That doesn't do anything.
This one needs to be up right here.
Oh, look at that!
That's what needs to
that's
happen
what
there. Here we go. There, that one.
Sorry, I was picturing Whore Island.
That's why it didn't work before, because that's what I was picturing.
Yeah, you were.
All right, here we go.
They just couldn't give you enough in one segment, so they're gonna go off on their own. It's time for Week in Review, where they discuss the big news from the week, even personal experiences. Hopefully, more news from the week.
Nope, all personal experiences. Do you want to turn me about halfway, Mr. Jones? Just turn me down a little bit. 'Cause
down?
Down. Keep going. I sold my motherfucking house. Okay, you can turn me back up.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
So
to say
I haven't
that out
officially
loud,
signed
yeah.
the papers, but the buyers finally did what
Approved.
they needed
Everything's
to do.
approved
Judge
at this
approved.
point.
Next week, barring me getting hit by a truck, I will be in 2 different offices in Midville on Tuesday. and I will be selling my house and all that jazz.
Congratulations.
And literally, the first people I'm bringing over to my house, these two. We're gonna have a guys' night planning the 200th episode.
Yes, we are.
And,
yes, we are. Yes, we
so
are.
they can
200 episodes. Can you
200
believe that?
episodes. And 200 episodes, and not only that, but I started on episode 89. So, suck it, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
What's up now?
He's been on more.
For the 200th episode, we're changing my title on the website to co-founder. So,
whoa.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Shots fired. Okay.
We'd have to go back and see how many episodes Jesse's been a part of, though.
No, I think I still beat him. Because 89 and then 100, what is that, 110? And he's only probably been on, like, at most 10 episodes since he left.
I don't know. We'll see. It could be. I think it's definitely leaning in your favor, but
you better kick me off the show, like, immediately.
Jesse's been on a while. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have anything else going on this week.
Oh, what up? My wife has joined. Wife, I'd like you to read down through the comments on the live stream because Jessica wants to stick a run at you.
Yeah, Jessica
and I'm okay with
and
that.
Tam need to work out the details.
Yeah,
we'll work out the video equipment. Y'all work out the details. The only other thing I have is I just want to give a quick shout out to Movie Pass, which I signed up for a couple weeks to review for this podcast. I still haven't got it, so far the review is not great.
Not great.
What about you, Jonesy?
You know, not a whole lot to report this week. I did go up to my in-laws' cabin this weekend.
Yeah.
Took the wife.
That's in Bear Lake?
No, that one's up near Starvation Reservoir.
I've never been invited there. Dave, have you ever been invited there?
No.
All right, then I don't feel bad.
I took you there.
We went past it. I didn't.
No, we
stay
went
there.
to it when we didn't stay there, but we went to it.
Well,
when we went
for
to
a
Scott's
couple
cabin.
minutes,
Yeah. But you've been there. I mean, it's, you know.
I guess.
Anyways, so
to it.
we had this plan to go up and replace the front stairs on the cabin. Right? Cabins are they're a
Constant work in
maintenance
progress,
pit,
yes.
essentially, right? It's
like
it's
owning
what they
a
are.
boat.
Yeah, it's much the same because they're placed in higher elevations where the winters are harsh and such things, right? So
after every winter, you have to bust your ass the first time you go up there.
yeah, and then to put them to bed for the winter, there's a whole thing there too. But anyways, this was the stairs focus. We were replacing
Don't
stairs.
throw that away. You could clone my wife.
Hello,
Yeah.
you want to clone your wife?
I found a hair.
There's one of these you might wind up cloning my dog, but
Keep going.
Or maybe it'll be a
Keep
mix
going.
of his wife and his dog. You don't know what happens.
yeah, you know what style she'll like it. Missionary. That's what you get for assuming.
So, anyways, so we get the call Friday that my father-in-law was feeling ill,
Okay.
and so they had come home and weren't going to be there. So I had figured, okay,
It's off.
trips off, right? No, daughter had other plans.
Oh yeah.
She, lack of a better term, had a complete freaking meltdown. What up, Megan?
Your daughter.
Megan Vasquez.
Your daughter.
My
Yes.
daughter.
Your
yes.
daughter.
Logan,
Had a
Megan, and
complete
Host.
meltdown.
Yes, so complete meltdown that they weren't going because she had invited a friend and was super excited and all this stuff. So I was all right. So we'll go. And by I should also mention that the wife was not coming up with us the first night because she had to work.
Right.
So she's going to be up there the next day. So I says, okay, I'll go up solo, take the kids.
Okay.
We go up early Saturday morning, get up there, get going, and get everything settled in, get the cabin turned on, and I start beverage consumption right away.
Okay.
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 Just right. away.
Like you rolled to a stop, jumped out, beer in hand.
Yes.
Like, where did that even come from?
Yes, like amazing. And then I brought this sampler of beers as well that I picked up at Harmon's.
Okay.
And
You went to Wasatch? What are we talking about?
oh no,
Squatters?
the make your own 6-pack.
They have that at Harmon's now?
Yeah, they have it at Harmon's now.
I thought you weren't allowed to do that in Utah.
Apparently it's a thing because they do it at Smith and Harmon's.
I know
But-
you can do it at the liquor store.
So I make my 6-pack, and I go up there, and like within the first hour, I'd had 3 of my six beers
Okay.
And this 6-pack was supposed to last you
all weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're right away having a good time.
Okay.
And then I look at the clock, and it's
And
like
by we you mean
me.
you.
Yeah, kids are they were, I assume, being okay.
Parker was probably drinking the other 3.
He could have been. Kid's a little lush, but so I look at the clock and it's 3, and I'm thinking I've already had 3 beers. I don't want any more beer, really. I want to save some of these beers. So I go, and it's my in-laws' cabin. I know there's plenty of alcohol.
Nice.
So I go and find the whiskey, and I pour myself a cocktail.
And you poured it. It's your first cocktail.
Yeah.
So if you know what that means, that's 4 fingers, folks. My boy Jones doesn't mess around.
I take a picture with my phone and send it to my mother-in-law and my wife, and said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere is the text, right, with the picture. And my wife's like, oh, geez, kind of response, right? And my mother-in-law sends me a text, oh, we're so sorry we couldn't be there. Wish we were having one with you and this kind of stuff. And I says, no, it's fine. Tell Dad to get feeling better. We're all good. And all of a sudden I get a phone call, and it's from my mother-in-law, and she says, here, Dad wants to talk to you. So I'm like, hey, and he's like, so you got those front stairs torn out yet? Say what now? And he's like, haha, kind of laughing, but also kind of serious.
Okay.
So I'm like, wait, I'm still expected to work up here? You're not here. That is not fair. That's not,
This is vacation.
And so that's what's kind of my response. I'm like, sorry, the bottle called my name first. Kind of staring. It's like, oh, no, man, it's all good, yeah.
But seriously, get it done by Sunday.
And so I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I hang up the phone, and I'm looking, and Parker's sitting there, and we're watching The Lone Ranger. Literally the only thing on TV up there.
Okay.
We're like,
is that the remake with?
No, this is like the old black and white TV show.
And that's okay,
Yeah.
because the remake is not good.
So, but I'd really had enough of the Tonto, I guess. It's really hard to watch. The old Tonto.
The old Tonto?
Yeah. Because he just is
don't
speaking
like his-
broken English very, very poorly. And so, after the 5th episode, I'm like, all right, Parker, let's go get this done. So I go to the...
No, you did not.
I go to the shed,
Okay.
and me and Parker bring back a sledgehammer, crowbar, multiple instruments of destruction. And I tear out the steps. First of all, so the steps are log steps, number
Okay.
one.
Okay.
2 big logs running down the side, and then log planks running across for the stairs.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, they came out very easy. The stairs came out very easy,
Okay.
right? Took all them off. There's like 8 of them, 6 of them. Take all them off, go stack them in the side. There's 2 logs left. I'm looking and going, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll cut the logs in half, and then I'll just pry each side out, because the one side's going directly into the ground, the other side's attached to the cabin
Okay.
with big nails. So I'm like, all right, that's what I'll do. But I'm thinking, no, my father-in-law really, really likes to save what lumber he can, if at all possible.
Right.
So I texted my mother-in-law and said, is this okay? And she says, well, the one side's rotted, so you can on that side, but he really wants to save the log on the other side.
Okay.
So I go get the saw, cut the one side out, comes out really easy. I start looking at the other side going, this is going to be a pain. And then I just kind of kick it, and it just moves.
Douche.
Yeah, just I'm like, huh.
Oh.
So I pick it up, and I pry the nails out of the one side of the cabin, throw the log down. I'm like, done. Sweet. More beer. So we go back in the house.
Hold on. How do you go back in the house now? The stairs are gone.
Yeah, you kind of had to jump. There was a kind of a...
Just a,
Yeah, like
Up,
up,
yeah,
and then
okay,
throw your leg up,
I
and yeah,
gotcha,
get up in it,
okay,
right?
I
And then
like it, I
but then
like
I get thinking, Jones is going to go inside and have more drinks, and there's a
then you're
big
gonna
ass
go-
drop off right
That's
there.
exact. You're going to open that door and you're going to go, douche.
Well, luckily there's a big porch, right? So it's not like stair or not
Okay,
like door.
okay,
There's a big
okay,
porch, but at
okay,
the same
okay.
time,
Yeah.
Jones is going to be drinking on the porch and just think, oh, I'm going to go. No,
And you know he's been drinking because he talks about himself in the third person.
yes. So
Jones is not going to like what Jones did just now. Jones is going to... It's going to be bad.
it's going to be bad. So I go and move 2 big chairs in front of the opening for the stairs. Okay, we're covered.
Just remind yourself
Yeah,
not
remind-
to
don't
step
go
out
there.
Yeah.
So I take a picture of my completed work and send it to my.
Tell me he called you back and was like, did you do this yet?
And so he calls me. He's like, Jones, you didn't have to do that, but that's awesome that you did it. Oh, by the way, there's a concrete pad under there that I think we're gonna have to knock out and take out.
No way.
Say what now? What? And he's like, yeah, because we're gonna have to pour a new pad that I'm gonna put eye bolts in and all this other stuff he's telling me about. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
all right. And he's
Is the pad cracked? Couldn't he just
and I'm
drilled
like,
into the pad?
yeah, I'm like, they make anchors you drill into concrete, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So I was like, Parker, you want to swing a hammer?
And of course
hang
his
up.
answer is yes.
Is yes. So
Absolutely yes.
we go
Absolutely.
out there, and I'm swinging the sledgehammer, and luckily it's really old, really badly mixed concrete that is not very strong at all.
Okay. So breaks all the pieces.
Breaks all the pieces, and Parker's having a blast using the crowbar to like pry all the pieces up and throw them over on the pile, and we got that one done in record time as well. So really, overall, it sounds like a lot of work, and I guess technically it kind of was, but it really
How many
wasn't.
hours are we talking?
It sounds like it was a lot of work for Parker.
Yeah, Parker worked his ass off. That kid, I tell you what. I would say total amount of work is like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours.
Okay.
Right, so not terrible. Maybe 3.
Now, so you were half of the bag when you started. How much in the bag were you when you were done?
So
Because you weren't drinking during this.
no, I
episode,
wasn't
right?
drinking during the construction itself, but
Because that would be irresponsible, folks.
yes, do not use power tools while consuming alcoholic beverages.
You've had several incidences where that has occurred.
I have scars.
Yes, I know.
I have several
I know
scars
you
to
do.
prove that. No, but so I finish up, and yeah, needless to say, the rest of the night was very fun. But the good news is, I get the
I
call.
didn't get where was Tam during all this? Did
She was working
came out-
Saturday.
Okay.
So she couldn't go up, so she was coming up Sunday, and this is Labor Day weekend, so we were going to be
You're
up
not
there
paying attention to the
I
story.
just didn't. That
Saturday
very
through
first
Monday.
Okay.
So then, I send the picture of it all demoed out and everything to my in-laws. My father-in-law calls me back. Oh, that's so awesome! That's so great. I'm feeling a lot better. We're gonna come up in the morning.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm like, so.
Okay, first of all, I want to get to this cabin. I want to get to this cabin one day, so I'm not going to insult your father-in-law. He seems like a very nice guy. Holy crap, the ball's on him to pull that.
Right?
That's
so
great.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, yeah. Oh, what up? Todd just joined, and Ashley. Dave, your relative Todd. Say hi.
Hello, Todd.
And then
So glad you could join us.
the gadget intern sister Ash. Hey Ash, what's up? But yeah, so no, and God bless him. I love my father-in-law. I've told everybody this, and I'll continue to say it. I won the in-law lottery. Really, when I got married, my in-laws are amazing. Love my father-in-law, love my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, all of them. They're all
Congratulations.
excellent people.
That's good because you only got like 4 out of 6 with the wife category.
Yeah, it's like
Come at me, Tam.
Oh,
I had nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Dave was
Zero.
Dave was not involved at all.
Nada.
Yeah.
Right there. He's
I'm like
on
3
his
beers
own,
in.
buddy.
I'm feeling strong.
On his own.
I'm going to see her next week. You know what, Tam? Actually, never mind. I was talking about his first wife he didn't tell you about. Let me deflect this onto him.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing that right there.
That's some
All right,
serious
Jesse's in the
backpedaling
house
going
as
on.
well. What up, Jesse?
Wait,
So,
Jesse.
That was my weekend, and then the week was uneventful. But yeah, the weekend was pretty cool. And like I said, it's a good feeling because I can tell you right now that amount of work for old Jones would have
killed
just
you.
wiped me out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like literally. And so it was like I said, I'm kind of amazed, because it was a fair amount of work, but it wasn't strenuous to the point where I was like wiped out. I continued to have a good
That
time
seems
after.
fun. Like, that seems like kind of work.
Yeah, like demo work, I'm totally
Speaking
cool with.
of kind of work, what's going on with Mama Bear's place? So we haven't done anything this summer. It's getting a little cooler.
Yes, I want to do the clean out, the fall cleaning. Get another dumpster, and this time do the basement.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be coming up.
I
Stay
call
tuned.
I call the tripod.
Yeah,
If he's listening, you could
What's
stop
a
listening.
tripod?
A tripod.
tripod.
He said
If
tripod.
he's
He did say
listening, he
tripod.
could stop listening.
Yes,
I'm just
true.
saying.
True. Oh, they're a solid 10. Tam, many people think you're a 10, including Logan Megan.
I actually think Tam's like an 11 and a
And
half.
Dave thinks she's an 11. I think she's like 100.
Oh, wait.
Megan is saying that she's going to help kill me?
Oh, see how sweet that
Wow.
is?
Oh, okay, first of all, wow,
at
Stolz,
you.
guess Dave's the favorite. Yeah. This makes him the favorite. Not the, you're secretly going to divorce him and leave him for him. That
I've been the favorite for a
people
while.
are
Yeah, you've
turning
been
against me.
no
We
doubt
have
about
a lot of female listeners today.
Yes, yeah.
What's up, ladies?
What's up? What's up?
I don't think you're a favorite of the female
Ladies.
listeners
Dave,
right
now
Stolz.
we're going to get to you.
All right. My
And
week. I've had an incredibly stressful week this week.
I
Yes.
really feel bad for my Dave.
Yes,
I do.
yes,
I do as well.
yes.
I hit you up
Appreciate
yesterday.
that.
I knew you were stressed. I could tell.
Yeah. No, it's my daughter, obviously down in the U.S. Virgin Islands, going to University of the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
Just lived through Hurricane Irma, Category 5.
That's insane.
It is insane. It
One
is
of the- one of
I
the
absolutely.
really
biggest
wish
hurricanes
I
of all
would have
time.
taken a picture of my illustration
You should have.
so that I could show everybody and just say,
He drew Florida. He drew the Virgin Islands, and then he drew a hurricane and pointed it right over my daughter to Florida.
and I did this little dash, Irma, and then Dave's daughter
Dave's
here.
daughter here. You know, he puts
How
a little
much
arrow.
did Florida look like a penis?
It was. I actually had to draw a lot more of the American coastline.
Yeah, it wasn't too
so
much.
that it wasn't just a penis.
Yeah. But she lived through that. We got a call from her this morning, actually, because we hadn't heard from her for over a day. That she was well, that everything was okay. The cell services started coming online. It's still kind of spotty, but it's coming up. I guess the Coast Guard's there. The Marines are there. FEMA
Really?
is there. Yeah, they've all
Dang.
arrived today. And they're getting everything sorted out, starting to get the roads cleared out, starting to get the power lines back up where they can and working. So
Awesome.
little baby steps. We don't know, obviously, just so you know, like the university, 4 of the buildings on top of the hill, which is about a quarter of the buildings for the whole university, were destroyed.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
so that's
all completely
insane.
destroyed.
So we have a lot of displaced students then, most likely, right?
They were the teaching buildings, so they were classrooms.
classrooms,
The dorms
okay.
themselves seem to have survived okay, is what my daughter said.
All right.
But we don't know if classes are going to be resumed or if everything will be canceled. We have no idea what's going on with that.
Gotcha.
And of course, I don't know if anybody heard, but the hospital there at the St. Thomas was half destroyed. The top 2 floors had to be evacuated because the roof was completely ripped off.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was insane. It was pretty crazy. 160 mile an hour gusts on the island itself.
They still said that
So-
this is like one of the biggest hurricanes ever hit the Virgin
It
Islands.
is
I'm
the
assuming
biggest from the Atlantic.
I'm assuming that the Virgin Islands regularly get hit by storms of the tropical nature.
Normally they're tropical or like a Category 1. They normally don't build into a 5 that early.
And
It's
you were
rare for
saying
them to get that big. in the
I mean,
Atlantic.
this vegetation, it'll come back, but it's not going to come back in the same way. So
Well,
it's,
yeah.
it's a good thing you were there when you were there. You got to see that.
Yep. All the vegetation is gone. For those who don't know, like every tree that's left standing has no leaves on it anymore. It's like completely ripped out.
I have some relatives in Oregon in the Columbia River Gorge area, and one of them so far has got evacuated from their house. But
From the fires there, right?
Yeah,
The fires, yeah, the fires.
So the Columbia River Gorge is on fire, and the Columbia River Gorge is, in my opinion, inarguably one of the prettiest places in the entire world.
Yes.
And I've gone through there 6 or 7 times, driven through there, and now it's never going to be the same. So hopefully the Virgin Islands bounces back. Hopefully they get the aid they need and all that stuff. And
Yep.
So Jennifer Baker is glad your daughter is safe, and that's scary.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yes.
So it is scary, and but like I said, everything's okay. We don't know yet, so we may be flying her home if school's canceled for a couple months while they rebuild, or if classes resume and they like reschedule things and try to figure things out.
I think
guess
they
she stays.
I think they ought to make floatable classrooms. Just little. You know the islands
the
they have, the
portables?
big
that would be
islands.
good. Just put the
Yeah, the
floaties out there,
the
those
floaty
floating
islands,
little
yeah.
thing, right? Just put those out
and
there.
everybody
Sure.
just goes and has class on the ocean.
There's 2 things that I want to mention here. So first, there's another hurricane coming.
Oh yes.
In
there's
another
that.
3 to 4 days, Hurricane Jose, which is currently a Category 3 out in the Atlantic, is going to pass by. We're hoping it misses by a little bit more than Irma did. And number 2, I was thinking, if I have to evacuate my daughter in a couple weeks, the flights still haven't gone in. The airport is destroyed. They're going to start allowing some flights to come in, emergency flights like supplies and whatnot to come in. But I figure real airline flights are 3 to 4 weeks away.
Right. I mean, we're talking destroyed. We're talking the building, but the runway probably
Runway's
still
okay. The
Yeah, you
tower,
showed
I
me a
heard, had
picture of
some
the,
damage.
The inside of it is completely like it's.
Yeah, it's gutted.
It's gutted completely.
The waves
like-
came up and all the way over.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the waves actually rolled all the way over and through the airport, so the interior of the airport is completely destroyed. All the windows are
Insane.
blown out, everything. So I was thinking, how can I get to her? So I'm thinking, okay, so I've been looking for ways to get to St. Thomas if you can't actually fly into St. Thomas. So what I've determined is you can fly in to St. Croix, but you have to fly out of either Atlanta or New York.
Okay.
And fly into St. Croix, and then you can take a boat from St. Croix over to St. Thomas. So if I have to get my daughter home, that's the roundabout
How much of a
way.
boat ride is that from St. Croix to
It's a
St.
couple
Thomas?
hours. It's a couple hours.
So I'm picturing Castaway.
I can totally see. Put up your little
Yeah.
half whatever it is,
And
the
Wilson.
Wilson on the side.
Yeah.
Yes, I can totally see it.
You guys have seen that movie?
Which one? Castle?
Castaway.
Yes.
We just mentioned
So
it.
that movie's a little boring in parts, but I think overall it's a really good movie.
Yes.
It is the only movie that I've ever cried over an inanimate object. I was a fucking mess, dude. I was a mess. So much so that like a couple weeks after that, Wilson had come out with like Wilson commemorative balls, and I saw it in Walmart, and I was like, like when he loses that goddamn volleyball. Spoiler alert! When he loses that, I was like, ah! Yeah.
Because he was wrecked too, though. I mean,
He was. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, first of all, Tom Hanks.
Remember, he dove in after it.
Yeah.
He couldn't find it,
Couldn't
right?
find
yeah.
it, yeah.
Tom Hanks is like a bona fide movie star. Like, I like Tom Hanks is like Cary Grant of our time.
Yeah,
like,
he's-
in 100 years, people are gonna look back and be like, Tom Hanks is this. Yeah, so he's bona fide, but he, yeah. Anyway,
he was
good.
bona fide.
he's
So,
bona fide.
yeah, daughter survived, and that's good news. And you know, we obviously
Excellent.
they don't have power yet, so she can't recharge her phone. So maybe a couple more days till you hear from her, but she's well. That's my whole week. That's everything.
Well, that's scary, man. I mean, it would be one thing if she had been down there for a while, maybe had been through some smaller storms, but it's just
No.
like God hit
Yeah.
you with the Category 5 right
Drop
off the
her
bat. Yeah.
off, and 2 weeks later, Category 5, literally like that. 2 weeks later.
You know, some people would say somebody hasn't been living right. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say about that.
Somebody.
You know what's really funny? I'm not lying to you. While we're down there, we're going. We're talking to the scuba dude, and I think I've kind of told you the story, but I don't think I've told you this part. And the scuba dude, we asked him, you know, about hurricanes, and he kind of the scuba guys who took us out said, you know, we're kind of due for one. And I turned to my daughter and go, "Yep, next hurricane, Category 5, right over you."
Oh.
I'm not lying to you. And everybody busted out laughing. Everybody thought it was funny.
Not so funny now,
Not
is it,
so
Dave?
funny now. I should have knocked on wood, and I didn't. So I jinxed her.
All Dave's
That's
fault.
my
It is your
fault.
fault.
It is my fault.
All right.
Sorry,
well,
Amy. You know, and everybody else in the Virgin Islands.
Very good. Well, this show will be primarily 100% Stolz stories from this point on. So let's get into the first segment now, which is this one.
Tech News. When it comes to cutting-edge technology, Chris and Jones are all over it. Doodads and information with Tech News.
So that's the first time I remember hearing that one, and I thought for a second it was just going to be like tech news, and that's it. I want my $10 back from that one, man. I want my money back from that one, Pete. All right, starting off, and now you're going to have to keep me honest, but I feel like we called this one on the podcast previously.
Okay.
HTC has August revenues that are the lowest in 13 years. Their August revenues represent a decline of 51.5 from the previous month, percentage from the previous month, and 54%. They're down 54% from last year. So there's talking that the latest flagship model, the HTC U11. And by the way, I knew HTC was in trouble when the only guy that swears by HTC in my life switched brands. So big shout out to BP. Brad has purchased the last like 5 HTC flagship phones, and now he's on Samsung. So it shows that maybe the metal unibody display or body that is the thing that HTC's like famous for.
What was the last good HTC phone?
The Evo 4G.
The Evo. That's what I was going to ask. The Evo. That's the last. Sorry.
Well, the Pixel. There's HTC in your house. So speaking of the Pixel, there's talk that Google is considering options to either buy the HTC outright of the smartphone business or become a strategic partner in order to buoy their business.
The HTC has been involved in more than one Google phone. They were a Nexus phone. They've been a couple Nexus phones, if I recall correctly. So I think it's a smart move.
And so this will
team up,
this
or
will
you
not
think Google should buy 'em
involve
out?
Buy 'em,
this
yeah.
will supposedly not involve HTC's Vive VR business, which is doing very well, and that's obviously something with Steam.
So this is just their mobile.
Just their mobile
This is
division.
just their mobile division. Okay.
So we might see a
What does
situation.
Google's VR situation look like?
Daydream?
That's
I
it,
said,
right?
yeah,
Like
they haven't done
we have
anything,
Facebook
right?
has Oculus.
That's exactly what I knew we were going to wind up talking about. It makes a lot of sense for them to buy the whole kit
Buy
and
the
caboodle.
whole kit and the caboodle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems to me like it's like
Yeah. If
Yeah,
I was
so-
Google, that's what I'd look at. You'd want to buy all of it, right? Not
Right.
just the
So
mobile, but
we
the whole
talked
thing.
about this like 2 years ago. We talked about HTC. Me and Jones got into how both me and him were HTC Evo guys back in the day, and how they were the first smartphone we had allegiance to. They
Yeah.
were the first brand that we had allegiance to, and
True
how
story.
far they've fallen, and how Google's going to come along and buy them up. So I think in that same
Yeah.
conversation, we also talked about how Google was going to buy T-Mobile. So if I'm just saying, if they buy T-Mobile and HTC, we're pretty much profit.
Very much true. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think after the 4G, I did the next generation, which was the.
I
was
even had
one?
an HTC Windows phone back in the day.
Well, yeah, I did too. The slider.
When I was in college and I experimented with Windows Phone, and this is previous.
Yeah.
So Windows Phone 7, is that what it was called? The
Windows
previous
Phone
one?
7, yep.
So this is like previous to that.
Yeah, it was
Like,
the
this
original
one,
Windows.
Yeah, this was the one that got upgraded to that.
Yeah, it was like the Windows operating system on the,
The
phone
first
was like
tiles.
Windows. Yeah,
The first tile one.
what the Zune had as well.
Oh, I miss the Zune so much.
But
That
I
was
just
the best music player ever.
They really
You don't believe me? It was.
dumbed it down.
I know we hate Apple, but take your hate away if you can. The Zune was streets ahead better than the freaking.
Oh yeah,
The
100%.
iPod. Dude, the Zune was a sweet thing, dude.
no doubt about it. Yeah, it was.
It's what everybody on Earth's using now. I saw it on a Marvel movie.
It's true.
It's true.
Do you
That's what I'm
think?
saying.
Do you think for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 they're gonna like bring back the Zune?
Well, the guy gave him the Zune. He said it's got like 1,000 songs
Yeah,
on
this
here.
one has like
See
1,000
the end
songs.
of
I
that?
read
So-
I read it behind the scenes that apparently they bought like the, and this is the one thing in movies I've always wanted to be. There's a what is it? Not a section, but a department in movies that is about the continuality of a movie, right? So it's a props department, and they make sure that when you yell cut, that your double gulp is back here in this spot right here.
Right, everything's
the
where
next
it's
thing.
supposed to be,
And
right,
so I
continuity.
noticed that stuff in movies like crazy. So I've always wanted to be in the props department and do that kind of stuff. And I read an article from a guy that said he had to source like 100 Zunes for that scene, and it was like one of the hardest things he's ever done in his life. Like he bought them all on eBay, and he still didn't have enough. And he was like on Craigslist, like trying to find people that had working Zunes. It was crazy.
Wow.
Anyway,
I just think that especially in today's market, that's a lost device.
my prediction is we're gonna turn it back around. I think that we're gonna turn it back around, and there's gonna be a backlash against smartphones, and I think people are gonna want individual devices for different things again.
Is that your? Jessica
you keep
Jessica
thinking
brings
that.
up a valid HTC point again, though. Is HTC has the Beats line, right? They bought out Beats.
No, that's one of the things that HTC. So they're actually they're not in the Beats anymore because Apple bought Beats.
Oh, did Apple buy Beats? So
Apple
they
bought
just.
Beats. So HTC had a strategic partnership with Beats.
Oh, it was just a partnership
and
with
then
them. Okay,
when the Apple thing happened, I'm pretty sure that's gone now.
that's all gone.
So Apple bought Beats
I
for-
thought it was an acquisition
Oh,
when the HTC. Beats
I'm watching
thing
that
happened.
that Dr. Dre documentary right now called the oh god, what is it called? I've only watched the first episode. So there's 4-hour-long things on HBO that's about like the rise of Dr. Dre. And the very beginning of the first one is about the Beats purchase. It starts off talking about the Beats purchase and how Dr. Dre became one of the first black billionaires, one of the first billionaires in hip hop, all this stuff because of the Beats purchase. And it talks about how like Jimmy Iovine, who's like the guy behind Dr. Dre,
Right.
He talks about how he kept this purchase under wraps for like 15 months, and they hadn't announced it yet. And then Tyrese from the Fast and the Furious series, Tyrese Gibson was drunk as shit on Facebook Live and was all like, "My boy Dr. Dre sold Beats for $3 billion." Yeah, it was amazing. And Tyrese is all getting interviewed for the documentary. He's like, "It's like one of the third most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me." And you really wonder what the first two are.
Yeah. What did the first two line up as? Awesome. All right. Well, what else you got in tech news?
I think it makes a lot of sense for Google to buy HTC. I think that the only thing that might happen is they don't want to piss off their OEMs, right? They don't want to piss off Samsung. Samsung's already like 2 seconds away from ditching Android anyway, as it is.
I think that'd be the biggest mistake Samsung could make at this point.
I feel like Samsung's the one to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm actually betting they will.
I don't think they won't
I
do
thought
it.
they've been leaning that
Oh,
way
here he
more.
comes. I knew that wouldn't be long.
Here we go.
All
Mention Samsung, and he's going to come in the room. Here
So
it is.
do you think Samsung could make a run for it with their own OS?
They've already got their own.
Tizen has been doing extremely well with the wearables, as in like reviewers really think Tizen is a good wearable.
So Tyson is their OS, right? And so
for the
when it comes
wearables.
to the wearables, we're talking smartwatches. I thought those were Android wear.
No, not the Samsung ones.
Not the Samsung. Samsung have Tizen. All of Samsung's appliances that are smart appliances have Tizen as well.
And Samsung has plenty of cell phones that are.
I was surprised how fast
In the U.S.?
I don't know about in the U.S., but
Right.
the world.
Across the world,
So,
but I
yeah,
don't think they have any.
For
that
anyone
are-
that can't hear, the graphics intern is talking about how other places, the budget phones in like India and China and stuff, are already running.
So let me ask you
Samsung
this then,
OS.
because this is something I'm not 100% sure of. We don't have 100% app compatibility between Tizen and Android, correct?
Correct.
So until
But
that,
there is some compatibility. Isn't there things that you can just put your app code into something and it pops it out, the Tyson?
To some degree, yes.
It's a little more difficult than that, obviously,
Right.
but it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I think until we just have 100% compatibility between the two, it's a nail, the first nail in a coffin that could be an eventuality for Samsung in the smartphone line.
Which I don't mind.
I don't know how big you guys think Samsung is in the smartphone market, but they are the biggest smartphone company.
Oh yeah, yeah,
By
but
far.
not but we're
And-
talking just U.S. market share.
Yeah, I'm
right?
talking U.S. market
This
share.
is really where we're talking about them replacing Android with Tizen would be in the U.S. market share. Do you think they could pull that off?
Yes.
You think they could? You think
The
they have
same
enough
thing- the
apps
same-
written for
The
it?
same reason why Google Android pulled it off when there wasn't Android
Mm-hmm.
before, and Apple pulled it off when there wasn't iOS before.
No. That's not the same comparison at all. That's a horrible comparison.
Well,
That
You
was the
can't-
birth of the
yeah, that
genre.
was yeah.
I mean, that was,
iPhone birthed the smartphone genre. There was nothing else out available, so people were flocking
Well,
to it because it was.
technically Android came out first.
I'm
But-
sorry, smartphone-wise, Windows was there before.
Yeah, but Windows
Windows is horrible. It was Windows.
Yeah, but Windows was being ran by Steve Ballmer.
But-
So
But I think it's unfair to say that Apple created the smartphone genre because they did.
I don't
they
think it
just
is.
embraced
I don't think it is.
I don't. Yeah,
The
I
smartphone
hate.
as we know it today.
I
is
hate Apple, and I will fully admit
Without
that-
Apple, it wouldn't
yeah.
be what it is.
it would
The
not
touch
have taken
screen,
off.
everything that goes
Did they
along with
invent
this.
it? No. But did they make it a mainstream thing? 100%.
Yep.
And you
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
argue that.
I mean, what did you have before that? Blackberries.
yeah.
That was the smartest phone out there. Was the BlackBerry?
No, Windows Phone was smart.
Nah.
That
Windows
Windows,
Phone,
no, I
yeah.
had the Windows phone
I had
that they
the Windows
had.
phone. It was
It was
horrible.
it was a horrible.
Right? It
excuse
had that
for-
little thing, and
Yeah.
so
And you had
so
to
the
use a
Windows phone,
stylus to do
yeah,
things.
the
Yeah.
Windows phone was basically Windows on a phone. So you'd have to be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
start
Well,
menu.
See, that's the thing. Windows Phone. That's what in Windows Phone never succeeded is because they've always treated the phone
Like a computer.
like a computer.
Yeah, not a mobile device, which is
Right.
completely different.
And
That's
so,
what I'm
but it's
saying.
a-
Apple
but
changed
it's
the
an
genre.
Interface failure, not a.
Yeah, but
program.
before that, the best mobile smartphone out there was a BlackBerry.
Yes.
Hands down. That was the best. And then Apple came along and revolutionized that
Yep.
phone industry.
They're the ones. They're the ones.
They're
that
the ones who
started
took it to the next level. That first iPhone was a blockbuster.
They're the ones that
amazing.
got everybody
A
looking
touch
into
screen with your
smartphones.
finger, apps you could just open up,
So
all those things.
That's all I wanted to say was that Apple didn't create the industry.
No,
They
but
took
they
the industry to the
revolution,
next
yeah.
level, yes.
But then Android came along and opened it up to a whole bunch of new vendors to compete. So everybody who couldn't afford an
Yeah.
Apple or didn't like the Apple had an option. And that's where Android. But
So here's
that's
what
I'm saying.
Samsung's trying to
How
do.
does Tizen break into that?
Right.
Well-
Samsung's trying to do what Apple has already done, and I don't think will be successful just surely because we already have Apple and we already have another solution that's open source solution.
I think
Anybody can develop against it.
Samsung, well, Tizen is actually a much more mature OS than most people think it is because most people don't really know.
That's one of the things I feel like it has going for it is because if you talk to the average person, they have no clue like what you're even talking about.
Right.
And so I recently got an interface with Tyson from one of the Tizen from one of the very first times ever, and then I was shopping for a fridge, and so I looked at smart fridges for like half a second until I realized that it really didn't meet my needs. But it was surprisingly fast. I mean, I don't know if you've ever used smart appliances or even smart TVs. Like a lot of times, smart TVs are just so clunky. Or just
But-
like plug in a Chromecast. It was pretty fast.
Well, Samsung has another thing going for them is the hardware part of it.
Well, I understand the hardware. I understand
As
the
long as it
design
doesn't
that,
blow up, they're
but
good, right?
in this market, I think the biggest thing is how many apps
Yeah.
you use
100%
will run on it.
Windows. I don't
That's
know.
why Windows Phone died.
That's
I
it.
wanted to go to Windows. Like I was
I did go to
begging
Windows.
them to take me to
But
Windows.
Samsung has these relationships with app developers, and Tizen has been.
Yeah, but there's
open-
there's a million
open
app
API
developers, and
platform
all it takes is
as well.
one Snapchat
So that's
to come
the question.
along and be on
Will
everybody's.
they pull that? Will they? Because I mean, their flagship right now is hugely successful. All of the Samsung, all these S series phones. Do you take the chance of walking away from Android and putting Tizen on that, and possibly throwing away that flagship, phone if people end up not liking it?
Do you feel like
For
you're
whatever
you're
reason.
built into the OS? That's one of the things that I've always felt with Android. It's
That's
like,
the 100% reason Jesse hasn't switched to Android.
So, but I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. Like, I've purchased apps, too. Like, I purchased apps, but none of the apps that I use on a daily basis are apps that I've paid a lot of money for. I'm not tied into the music. I'm not, I have...
Okay, you
Google
can
Music.
say you're not tied into the library. That's fine. But if you go to Tizen and it doesn't have the main app that you didn't pay for in Android,
That's what exactly. So, like, this is stupid to say, but one of the big things that is a huge black eye in the Windows Phone thing is they don't have Snapchat. They don't have Snapchat. I've seen that everywhere. Like, I've seen it so more times than I can count. People be like, I would switch to Windows Phone. The only app that I'm missing is Snapchat. It doesn't have Snapchat. It doesn't have Snapchat. So all it takes is one person to come along and make the new big thing and then say, I'm not supporting Samsung stuff. And they're sunk. But I don't know. It would be interesting. Two's always better than three. Three's always better than two. So I would like to see some competition.
Aren't we actually towards the end of Android anyway? Because Google is switching to a different architecture, different OS in the future that they've been developing.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be the end of like Eclair as well, but it's still like on a bunch of devices.
No, as in even Google itself.
They've
has
talked about
plans
going away
to-
from Android, stop supporting. They're basically going to stop new versions.
Right.
That's what I've heard too, but I haven't. I mean, I've basically heard that rumor. I haven't
They're
heard.
not going to get to the end of the alphabet. I'm going to be so disappointed if they don't get to the end of the alphabet.
They're
They're
not
already
going to make it to the
But
alphabet.
I think the future in computing in general,
They only have 10
regardless
more.
whether it's mobile devices or not, is they all need to work with each other. Just like Amazon and Microsoft took the first step in making it so Alexa and Cortana are going
Yep.
to work with each
But
other.
that requires cooperation,
And-
and it
and I
really is
think-
going to be interesting how that integrated that
I
is
think
or
in the
not.
future they're going to all have to cooperate.
And maybe, I don't know. I don't see Apple cooperating with anybody. That's just the way Apple is. They do their own thing, and they basically say tough luck to everybody else. So, anyway, that's a good thing. Next story.
Next story. My next story is about an awesome pin. I didn't know where to put this in future tech or current tech news because it's something that exists, but it's not necessarily
Oh, I thought you said pin.
pin.
It's a pen.
Pin.
Pen.
Pin.
Like that you write
It's one
with.
of, so there's a couple words that I say weird. Orange, pin, wolf.
Right back.
All those words I say
Say it
wrong.
like P-I-N when you're talking about P-E-N, right?
Pin. P-E-N. Pin.
He says pin.
So just one last update on the final thing that was brought up by the graphics center about Android going away. No, Android is not going away. Android as we know it with the Linux kernel is gone. Android will no longer have a Linux kernel in future versions, but it will be built on
Like
a different,
after-
bigger, better, stronger kernel.
After peppermint or whatever.
Whatever
Peppermint patty or whatever's
particular suite we
didn't talk about
will
that.
be
They
on.
officially announced that it's Oreo. Right?
Oreo, yes.
Oreo. So this is the second time they've branded it. Kit Kat was also a brand,
Right.
but okay. So
And it's Project Fuchsia is the code name for
this
is the
pin-
upcoming thing, but it still will be Android and it will still be 100%
Completely different Android.
compatible with everything that is on the Play Store and everything else
this
out there.
This pin that I read about this week, and this is from Engadget. Mallory Locklear talks about how a pin that can determine whether tissue is cancerous in 10 seconds. When surgeons are removing a tumor from a patient, determining whether they have taken out all the cancerous cells or if they should extract more is a problem that they've always faced. Typically, the margins of tumor are assessed after the surgery is completed. If it looks like some cancer was left behind, another surgery is in order. Obviously, this is dangerous. With another surgery, you have anesthesia and everything else that comes along with it. So there's actually a way to test cancerous tissues in real time using this device called the mass spec pin. As the name suggests, is a small pin-like device that can determine whether tissue is cancerous in just 10 seconds. It works by delivering a droplet of water onto the surface of the tissue in question. That droplet pulls in molecules from the tissue that are then analyzed by a mass spectrometer, a machine that can rapidly measure the mass of chemicals, and then the system reports whether the tissue is cancerous or normal.
A cancer detecting
pen. How cool is that?
Pen.
Does it also allow you to write on things?
Pen.
No, it doesn't actually write anything.
So is it a pen at that point then?
It's just a pen-like looking thing.
It is attached to a machine.
Okay.
It's
got a cord. It's got a cord attached to it.
Let's call it a cancer detecting stylus. How about?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
cancer
like that better.
Stylus.
And then he can say Stylus, and it sounds
Yes.
like Stylus, not pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I read it, I fully thought he was going to start talking about penis cancer.
No.
That's what I thought the story was about. I thought he was trying to say peen cancer, that's what he says for the penis.
What you describe is just a suction head that's attached to a mass spectrometer.
No, it's not. It's not a suction.
It doesn't
so
suck
it spits out a droplet of water, and
I'm stopping right here.
the fact is though, the mass spectrometer, which has always been a thing, well, not always, obviously, but it's been a thing used in cancer.
Boy.
This is instantaneous.
Yeah.
So it's new technology that instantaneous tells you.
So that you don't have to wait days to find out if you've got it.
Correct.
They take the sample, they touch the pen to it or the stylus to it.
Thank you, Dave.
And
It's kind of like queued up and backed
and
up.
you literally know within moments whether it's cancerous or not. So it's kind of cool.
So I strictly picked this so that way I can hear Jones say previously on Beyond the Routine.
Previously,
Jones,
Yes.
this was talked about before on a show. What do we call that?
We call that previously on Beyond the Routine.
That's right. Previously on Beyond the Routine, we talked about the amazing fact that they had shoved 200 gigabytes worth of data into a micro SD card. That was 2 years ago. Now bringing us 400 gigabytes of micro SD card. 400
What was that
gigabytes.
episode called?
I can't remember, but it was about the card.
It had to do with eating the card and shooting it out, I think.
Exactly. So I've always talked about how it's insane. I could eat 400 gigabytes. I bet I could eat a petabyte of data. If you give me 400 gigabytes, what is a petabyte? A petabyte is 1,000.
It'd be 25 of those.
Yeah, dude, I could easily eat 25 micro SD cards in my sleep. I ate 10 just this morning because I was hungry. Yeah, so you can.
Oh no, wait. Next one's terabyte, so it'd be 250 of those. Sorry.
I can still eat 250. SanDisk, if you're listening, if you want to send me a petabyte of your data, I will shit it out. I will shit out a petabyte of your data.
Wait, no, I think I was right.
25.
It is 25.
Yeah,
2.5 would be a terabyte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
250, 25.
Well, that's 10 terabytes, 100 terabytes. So 250. No, it'd have to be 2,500 of those, right?
So yeah, previously we talked about how my first hard drive was 9 gigs, and how I held this 9 gig device in my hand, and I was like, I'll never need any more than this. And now 400 gigabytes fits on a little teeny card. My last story.
It's 2,500 of them.
Confirmed. 2,500.
2,500 for a petabyte of the 400 gigs.
You're not eating that many, boy.
Dude, 2,500 of them are only probably
You could fit it into a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I bet.
It would be an
bet I could
entire
eat it.
cheeseburger size of those things glued together.
I bet I could eat it. How long are we talking?
I just saw a guy eat a cactus on YouTube, so I think you could do
Is
the
that
memory
show
cards.
nice?
I don't know what.
There's this guy on YouTube that I feel so bad for. His name's Show Nice, and he drinks bottles of liquor and
Now, are these regular size micro?
No,
this
these are
is
the
micro.
micro.
This is
The
micro.
little
This is,
teeny ones, or the little teeny ones, right?
this is Chris
The little
Peen
teeny
size.
ones.
This is little.
The smaller, or about the size of the
See,
pinky
peen. That's what I thought we were talking about. Peen cancer.
Peen.
All right.
Speaking of peen, how about all those peens that own iPhone 7s without headphone jacks?
Hey,
You like that segue?
Hell of a segue.
This actually made me laugh. This is also from Engadget. There's a website called Strange Parts by a guy named Scotty Allen. He missed the iPhone jack so much that he decided to figure out how to put the iPhone jack back in the iPhone.
You just drill a hole in the bottom of your iPhone. I saw a YouTube video.
So he literally did drill a hole, and he also added the actual board and everything else. So
really?
The project took around 17 weeks to complete, and throughout it, Allen spent thousands of dollars on parts, including multiple iPhones, screens, and handfuls of lightning to headphone adapters. Along the way, Allen bought a printer, a nice microscope, and fancy tweezers. He had to design his own circuit boards, have a company manufacture multiple iterations of the flexible circuit board, and at one point early on had to consult a chip dealer with a friend that hooked him a friend hooked him up with, because who doesn't have a chip guy these days?
I say, hold on, that really sounds like
17
he's buying
weeks
something
and
in the back alley.
Thousands upon thousands of dollars.
You need to meet my chip dealer.
Oh, and by the way,
He
the
can hook you
iPhone
up.
8 is bringing the headphone jack back.
Is it really? Is that the speculation?
I would laugh my ass
Oh, that'd
off.
be so
No,
great.
he's just
Yeah.
totally-
Well, he did it kind of obviously. This when you spend thousands of dollars on something of
You've
this
got
nature.
too much time on your hands.
Well, you're doing it for a YouTube video that has hundreds of thousands of views to make that money back, but you're also obviously doing it as a passion project. So,
that's pretty fun.
so aside from that caveat, there's a caveat as well that the headphone jack is powered via the phone's lightning jack, with the circuit board switching between the two depending on whether the headphones or charger are plugged into the phone. So you can't actually listen to music and charge the phone at the same time.
Wow.
You cannot.
You cannot.
One Alicia Vasquez says that guy has money to blow.
Yep.
Yes.
I agree with her.
Is she talking about me and my Funko addiction, or is she talking about...
Pretty sure about the guy with the...
Yes.
But
To
yes,
both,
either one. It
actually.
applies
Yes.
to both.
Yes.
To both. It applies to both.
Next, I have a couple grab bag stories.
We're gonna move into the grab bag.
Yes.
We had no idea we would talk about this today, but thanks to their lack of focus and possible learning disabilities, it's time for the Beyond the Routine grab
He
bag.
pointed to Stolz.
All right, fuck you. I had a speech impediment when I was a kid, but I didn't have a learning disability, okay? I learned just fine.
Yes, you do.
Stolz is learned.
Yes, you do. He's
I
learned.
did pronounce my R's as W's, but I don't care about that.
That
That's why,
wascally wabbit.
that's why we just had that article on that pin.
My mom used to tell a lot of stories that I wasn't sure were true. Probably similar to what you guys think about me. She was a storyteller, much like me. I'm a second-generation storyteller. And one of the stories she told is my mom had the same speech impediment that I had when I was a kid, in that she would pronounce W's or R's as W's. So rather than rabbit, it was wabbit. And I had the same thing when I was a child.
You were Elmer Fudd.
I was Elmer Fudd.
You were Elmer Fudd.
Fuck you, Dave!
Oh my gosh. You have just
You're
made
Elmer
my
Fudd.
day.
I was Elmer Fudd.
Oh my gosh.
That's okay. Write that down. Chris was Elmer Fudd. So rather than, my mom used to tell a story about how she was in class one day. And this
wascally
teacher-
wabbit, you.
This teacher, she was reading from a book, and she kept saying wabbit. And
We
the
have
te-
one of the listeners upset with me and you
Why?
because I pronounced her name wrong and you didn't correct me.
Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia
yes.
Vasquez. Yes. I was
It's
trying to
not
protect
Alicia?
your
Alicia?
anonymity. It's Alicia.
Anonymity? Alicia.
Alicia.
I like that name. Alicia, I like that name.
Then put a couple E's in there or something. Don't spell your name like Alicia.
Drop an E in there, Alicia.
Don't listen to them. Your name's perfect.
I love how people do that. Say that to people. Like, why don't you do? I didn't make the name, dude. Talk to my parents, okay? I'm sorry. So one of the stories my mom used to tell was about.
But the
how
struggle is real because my wife deals with that kind of stuff on a daily. Tamala all the time.
Tamala. Oh, she looks like a tamala.
Tamala. Yeah.
Tamale.
I can't say anything. Okay.
Yes,
Keep going.
but so one of the stories she used to tell was that she was reading from a book one day and it said rabbit, and the teacher got mad and said, "No, Patty, say rabbit." And she said, "Wabbit." "No, say rabbit." "Wabbit." "No, say rabbit." "Wabbit." "No, say rabbit." "Bunny." So the people that know my mother would probably agree that was probably a true story, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you know this, Dave, but a Beyond the Routine endorsement is worth a lot of money nowadays.
Oh, really?
Now that we're YouTube famous and we have not one but 7 people watching us on Facebook right now, we're pretty. I mean, we're big time.
You're getting up there.
So Beyond the
impressed.
Routine wants to extend a heartfelt thanks to JetBlue, American, and Delta this week, who capped their ticket prices out of Florida in preparation for Hurricane Irma. So JetBlue would not charge any more than $99 up to the last available seat for direct flights, and a maximum of $159 up to the last seat for connecting flights out of Florida.
That's
so,
awesome.
Delta and American did the same thing to a different extent. I believe American did pre-tax $99. Delta came out, said $99. I think that is super awesome, and it's nice to see a corporation in America nowadays, going out there and because you got to figure it's probably cost them a lot of money. Who knows? Maybe some of the contracts with the pilots, maybe they're having to pay them extra money. Obviously the fuel cost, everything else. They're probably losing money on the deal, but it's always nice to see a corporation come through in time of crisis.
Goodwill goes a long ways. Yes, it does.
Going from goodwill to a woman getting stuck in a window trying to retrieve her shit.
Wait, shit?
I knew it.
Oh, man.
I figured out where he gets his stories from. So yes, from HuffingtonPost.com this week, woman on Tinder date gets stuck in window trying to retrieve her own poo. Yes, so surprisingly, a second date might happen. So basically, what happened was this gentleman, Liam Smith, with a Y instead of an I, because whatever. He's British, that's why. From Britain University in Bristol.
Alicia or Alicia.
Oh! It could be both.
Hey,
Alicia or Alicia.
don't get mad, Alicia Vasquez. Okay, we don't.
Alicia or Alicia.
You can pause that now.
Yeah, see, hers is neither. It's Alicia.
Well, that's kind of what the second one was. It's just the robotic voice has a hard time with you.
Alicia. What you can't really talk too much smack because
a
it.
little awkward, and I don't mean to be rude or anything. But
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Would it be weird if there was pornography? Because that wasn't. Yeah, so this gentleman was on a Tinder date this week, and his date basically comes out. I'll summarize the story. His date comes out and is in a huff and says, in her probably adorable British accent, I have an issue. I went to go to the bathroom in your flat here, and I went to poo, and I opened the window, or I went to poo, and I went to flush the poo down the toilet, and the poo wouldn't flush. So like a reasonable adult, I decided to take the poo out and throw it out the window. What I didn't realize is when I threw it out the window, there was actually a double window. So it was like a building in a building almost, like they had built a facade on the outside of the thing. So she threw it into an 18-inch gap that was just there. So then she had to be like, all right, now I have to retrieve this poo. So then she came out.
First they went out to the building and realized it wasn't out there. Then
Yeah,
they came
correct. So
back
they went out to
in.
the building and they realized, oh, crap, you threw your crap in this 18-inch. So he's trying to figure out. So they're trying to retrieve the poo together, which is obviously if these two don't wind up married, I don't know what.
There's obviously alcohol involved here. There has to be. Anyway,
So she goes in, and she falls in and winds up
in between the building.
in between the building and
the
the
facade.
window, trying to retrieve her poo. Hilarious, yes. So they actually
she
had to-
retrieved her poo.
She did retrieve her poo, but she couldn't
She
get
couldn't
back
get
out.
back out.
She was stuck. So they had to break
Where
the
was
window.
the poo when she was stuck?
Like right
Down
below
in
her.
between.
So she didn't, keep a hold of it.
No.
No, her hands are both here. There's no poo in either one.
Is there stains of poo on from her
There's
grabbing
not.
the poo?
There's not. And they had to break this window. And so
I feel like we said poo a whole lot there.
this guy made a GoFundMe page that was like, "Hey, I have to replace this window that's like $300. Can people please?"
How
pay
hard
me?"
up you got to be? You got to start GoFundMe for $300.
Apparently, that's his entire monthly budget. I don't know how the fuck you live on $300, but I want to know how to do it. So far, 2,700 pounds has been raised. So 200 pounds, that's like what, 300 pounds? Because it's
200 pounds is 300
So
pounds?
a pound is 75 cents right now. No, a dollar is 75 cents of a pound or whatever. I just did that. So just earlier,
He's so confusing right now.
So just earlier, I had to pay 105 pounds to someone. It was $140.
Okay.
So
Did you buy something across the pond?
I did. So that's $280. So it's $280 is this guy's monthly budget. How the fuck do you do that?
I don't know. Maybe things are cheaper.
But yeah,
over in
that's all I
London.
have. Let's do quick hits now that I stole one away from you.
He's feeling pretty good about himself.
Yeah, someone goes to HuffPo Weird News. They need to stop doing that.
Dave, is that where you get your stories?
I get a couple stories from there. It's not the only place I get stories.
I didn't say it was the only, but I did
just
figure it
saying.
out.
Just saying.
You know how I figured it out? I
How?
found this poo story this week, and then I was like looking through their archives, and I was like,
That's all.
son of a
Dave's
bitch!
stuff.
These are all Dave's quick hits.
He hangs around on every show for the chance to give you the quickest view of the world. It's Dave with Quick Hits.
All right, let's go full
Ready?
size. In 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
A tiger was shot and killed after running loose in a neighborhood and attacking a dog. A Pennsylvania police department is asking a local prankster to stop tying red helium-filled balloons to storm grates.
Oh,
with the
fuck
eerie
that
sight
noise.
easily drumming up comparisons to the upcoming horror movie It. 20,000. That's the number of helium-filled balloons that it took to lift an artist off the ground on Sunday during a gravity-defying art installation reminiscent of the beloved Pixar movie Up. A man in California says he was trapped with his own fifth-floor apartment this weekend after a delivery driver left a package just under the handle of his Bay Area flat door, which blocked the handle from turning so he couldn't get out. Mexico smashed world records with a 3-ton guacamole. Man trashed in 7-Eleven in California after clerk man trashes 7-Eleven in California after clerk refuses to sell beer after 2 a.m. And the last story: a Maine lobsterman, Alex Todd from Chebeague Island, pulled a translucent crustacean, otherwise known as a ghost lobster, from the trap on August 24th.
Oh, good old Chebeague Island.
So let's talk
I
about
have
it
many
for a
memories of that island from my childhood.
Do you really?
The good old Chebeague.
Chebeague?
Yeah,
Chebeague
that's where I got
Island.
my first.
No. No. No.
So let's talk about it
No.
for a second. Okay, everyone that's listening, I'm not going to fucking watch that movie.
Wow.
That movie terrified me as a child. I don't want to watch it again because it's campy nowadays.
Just a friendly clown.
People keep trying to get me to watch that movie. And then someone came over to my desk today and was like, well, you should watch the original because it's
Can I
campy."
point out something?
That movie's scary as shit.
Let me point out one thing.
It's just a clown.
Before the show, I said, "Hey, should we hook up the mic?" And the graphics intern, right there, he's standing behind the camera,
Where is he? I don't see him.
says, "No, I don't want it." This is now the second time he's come into the room to
We're
participate.
hooking up the mic from now on. Graphics intern, do you want to see the movie It? Fuck that movie.
The graphics
That
intern
movie,
nodded
there
yes,
has
by the
never
way.
been a movie that has affected me more than the original It. I watched that movie when I was 8 years old. From the time I was 8 to the time I was 18.
I gotta tell
I
ya.
would wash my hair, and I'd immediately grab a towel, and because I was scared that it was going to come and get me out of the drains. I was so scared of that movie.
What are you
How does
doing
the
watching
clown?
It
How does the
when you're
clown
8
fit
years
out of the
old?
drain?
No, it's not going to... He kills him in the thing. He's in the bathtub when he kills him in the thing. He comes out of the water. I don't know. It happened in the movie, but it was scary as shit, Jones.
But doesn't your logic kick in and go, "How does the clown come out of a drain?"
No. So he asked that question, why is a kid that was 8 watching It? So we watched R-rated movies from a very young age when I was a kid.
I don't think it has to do with anything with R-rated. I think it
No,
has
I'm
to
just
do with
saying-
scary as shit.
No, that movie... Fuck that movie, dude. Fuck that movie. I'm not watching it. I don't want to see the previews. I'm sick of people putting stuff on my wall about it, to be completely honest. I do not want to see that movie. That movie looks absolutely terrifying, and I'm not seeing it.
Apparently, you have tickets to go Sunday.
No. You better get a refund.
Not from me.
So
From some
my
other
wife,
people.
My wife is screening that movie at my house on Saturday. Guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be here on Saturday because that movie is scary as shit.
Alicia also follows your same thought process of the bathtub scene. She thought the movie ended there for years, but found that that's just like the first half now. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's like Old Yeller. That's like Old Yeller. This is no joke. One day when I'm like 14, Old Yeller comes on. And I'm like, I love this movie when I was a kid. Let's watch it. And so Old Yeller comes on, and the movie goes, and then like they get back together, and everybody's happy, and then another scene starts. And I'm like, what is this? Is this like an extended edition of Old Yeller? And that fool takes Old Yeller into the backyard. And I'm like, maybe he's going to play ball. Nope, shoots him in the head. My mom edited out that whole thing, my whole life. She would put on Old Yeller, and then she'd wait until the very end, and she'd run in and eject the thing. So I had no idea that the dog died at the end. So I'm like 14, and I'm just like, oh, the other's dead. This whole time he's been dead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's You know he had rabies, right? It was.
I just thought like the dog, like he got a shot. Like I don't know. I hadn't seen the movie.
So wait, where did your mom cut this off? After he defended the boy?
Let's watch Old Yeller. And I'll watch Old
He
Yeller.
defends
and
the boy. They get back to the house,
And
and he
that's
hasn't
the
gotten
end.
rabies yet.
Yeah, that's
right?
the end.
He's just injured.
He's a
It's
good dog.
like
Good
a
dog.
couple
though.
days later that he starts doing the.
I didn't see any of the rabies stuff. Any of the rabies stuff.
I have a projector. If anybody can come up with it for Saturday.
I'm not coming. I will not come.
The new or the old?
Either one.
Because there's cams out there of the new already.
So the land is literally my very favorite thing all year. Every time you invite me to one, I get excited. I like there. It doesn't matter if we have plans; those plans go away. I will not come. I will leave. I will pack up my rig and leave.
Apparently, Alicia, I don't know if this is referring to Old Yeller or
That
not.
movie is so scary.
But apparently she didn't see the end of Old Yeller either and thought it ended where yours did as well, and we just spoiled something for her.
Alicia, we might be sisters.
That's an old movie. Everyone should know that by now.
Alicia, did we have? I've met your parents one time at Walmart. I don't think we had the same parents, but we might have.
All right.
We're not really gonna watch it on Saturday though. Like for real.
It's okay, Chris. I'll protect you.
Like for real.
Just ask yourself how a clown
Like
comes
you can
out
watch
of
it
a
on,
drain.
you can watch it on your. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you from watching everything, but if you're putting it on a projector, I'm not coming. You guys are gonna watch it.
Seriously,
I'm not. I'm not going to be here.
You're not coming on Saturday.
No.
I'm gonna be.
I got to
playing
go back.
games.
I got to
I'm
go
not
back to the
watching it.
cabin.
Well, what's the food situation?
Exactly. This will be the first land without food.
Where you have to buy your own food,
Well, I'm not coming. No, I'm just joking. I'm still coming. I'm still coming.
unless you play it, and then he's not coming.
It was Best Buy, Chris. Best Buy, not Walmart.
What?
I don't know. Alicia
when you
says
met
it
her
was.
parents.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the 13 South Walmart, the top floor of the 13 South Walmart, I believe. Alicia, if memory serves.
There you go.
I was just there today, thinking fondly of that memory. But maybe.
Were
it
you
was
looking
Best
for
Buy.
Funko exclusives?
I was.
There you
I
go.
was looking for Chase Porgs. Chasing those Porgs. I already got 2 of them, but I need more. I need more Chase Porgs.
That's so sad.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you for so many different people tuning in. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
This has been a fun show. We'll try to get more of this interaction going. This seemed to work out good, the method I used this time, so we'll try to continue it on for future shows. Just a little heads up, in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks is the big 200 episode show, so
Correct.
tell your
Some of-
friends.
Some of you out there will be invited to that show, so keep your schedules open on the 21st.
Oh, Jessica says you need to frost your tips.
I do. So I wasn't going to talk about this, but I was actually just going to reveal it to you guys. But so I got drunk. I know, big shock. And I was all like, I was really drunk. And Jessica is a hair stylist and a
Yes.
great hairstylist. She does amazing things with my daughter and my wife's hair. They look great. From the back, my wife's hair always looks nice.
Video's interrupted. Don't know why.
Adopted the Hispanic like thing, right? And so while everyone was frosting their tips, I had this like weird Hispanic hairdo, and I was like, I should have frosted my tips. And sure enough, Jessica was like, I'll frost your tips. And then so I was like, if Robbie and Brad both frost their tips, and I'll keep them for a minimum of 10 days before shaving them all off. So we're all gonna frost our tips.
Okay.
And so I was just gonna be like, but
Now it's out of the bag.
that's out of the bag.
Now it's out of the
You
bag.
should frost your tips.
Your hair's going to be pretty freaking short if you cut off the frost.
You know what I
I
really
am.
want to do? I want to dye all this hair on my face. I want to dye it pure white.
I am going to. Jessica can hook you up.
21st South Best Buy. You're wrong. All right.
All right. Well, she knows how to pronounce her name. I know where I met her parents. It's fine. It's no big deal.
We're going to agree to disagree, apparently.
All right.
I believe her.
Alicia, you take
Thanks
it up
again,
them.
everybody. We are going to sign off.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Routine. Brought to you by our friends at Bastion Technologies and Protocol 42.
Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Peace.